Well, officials at the lab responsible for processing COVID tests in Harford County are explaining what steps they're taking to prevent another mishap.
The company had to throw out hundreds of PCR test samples after an outbreak of COVID at its lab, forced that lab to shut down. WMAR News' Mark Roper is at that site, Ripken Stadium there in Aberdeen. So, Mark, what are they doing now to fix the problem?
Good morning, Christian and Megan. Well, anyone who gets tested here gets both a rapid test and a PCR test. So anyone who still needs or wants those PCR test results, they can come back here and get retested. Meanwhile, the lab is making some changes to how it collects those test samples to prevent another problem like this. Now, the highly contagious Omicron variant created a surge in COVID cases, along with a rush of people heading to testing sites like Ripken Stadium in Harford County. The surge also put a stress on the lab, which processes the PCR test, causing some wait times to jump from 48 hours to 72 hours. But then the lab had to shut down last week because of a COVID outbreak, which caused even more delays. Maryland-based OmniPoint Solutions is the company in charge of testing at Ripken Stadium. Officials say they tried to send last Monday's test samples to another lab, but they didn't get there in time to be processed, and so nearly 500 samples expired and had to be thrown out. OmniPoint Solutions CEO Aaron Poynton explains what changes his company is making so they don't run into a backlog and problem like this again.
We've changed over from saliva to nasal swabs, which are more standardized and accepted at various labs across the country. The laboratories that we're working with are currently on double shifts and even working on Sundays processing samples.
Now, there will be an express lane here for anyone who does want to come back and get retested to get those PCR test results. Meanwhile, officials are hoping more access to at-home testing kits, as well as the drop in the state's positivity rate, will help reduce the strain put on those labs. Reporting live in Aberdeen, Mark Roper, WMAR 2 News.